All right, May 4th, 2002, Heron Airport, West Virginia. And we are now shifting sides to begin to work on starboard side, which in the energy that I'm experiencing on levels of difficulty, or even just fighting me along the way, it's this side of the airplane. On this side, I feel comfortable, it's good, everything is checked out, some issues. And then we've got in here and prepped everything for the cylinder removal. Moved all the exhaust and all the intake. Whoop. And so we've got removed the air box that runs right through in here, which is that piece on the ground that runs all the way from the cold intake all the way through for the cold air, for air in the cab, and then the exhaust baffle, heat baffle. Then you got air intake running through the air to the baffle. It's cold air, and then hot air comes out the other side and goes into this box, this air box here, and it's mounted up underneath. I've got this almost removed. I'm going to remove this, and my intent is to vapor blast all the aluminum parts if I can find one or make one. But at a minimum, I want to take it out and clean it. It's just full of 70 years of gunk and funk and mice and everything else. So we have fresh cabin air inside, and it's properly sealed. So if there's an exhaust leak, we're not getting carbon monoxide poisoning through the fresh air ports. Because with that port open there, and which is what it was nothing to that port, to there. There was no hose. There was no ducting, and so you could get exhaust leak and go in through your hole and feed carbon monoxide. And the hose here was rotted. It could have fed carbon monoxide. There was a lot of breaches in the cool air and hot air baffling. So we're gonna get all new ducting, and we're gonna do some repair on the air box. It got tore where it mounted, and this is actually damage. I ended up just cutting this last piece right here, but this was cracked all the way down, and it was a good thing because I can't get behind this screw in here to get this, because you can't. The air box air intake is in the way, and it's a bugger to get undogged. So this way now I can get in here and develop a plan of attack. Probably put a bolt in there and just because it has a Phillips screw, you can't get a Phillips in there, even a stubby or nothing. Maybe sideways, but it's rusted, and it would just strip out the head of the screw. So, and the other thing is, all under here was just covered in oil, thick. If I didn't get in here, if caught fire, all this would have been fuel for a firewall forward major fire. So I've been cleaning this for a while. Keep down, using avgas to clean it, and it's still dirty. And then we have a broken exhaust hanger, so we need to do some repairs. And I would have never seen this if I wouldn't have got in here and really dove head first into this. So we are prepped to remove the cylinders. on this side. We have part of removing this baffle, we had to remove the starter, which is right here. It had a piece of the baffle dogged underneath the starter adapter. And then removed the port mag, and we're going to remove the generator, and it's already unhooked and labeled. And so we get out of this, I'm going to look into some of this older wiring and see what it might take to do a wire, do all the wiring. So we're going to pull all the, we're finished. So now we're fairly done on this side. Again, we're prepped here to remove the cylinders. Going to remove all the accessories aft. Fuel. We have the governor. We have fuel pump. I'm not sure exactly how far and what, because a lot of this is already good. But the fuel pump, I'm going to change the pin that's in there and take a look at the generator. It's a 12 volt 50 amp generator, and I'm going to look at the brushes, clean everything, address the rust. The propeller is in great shape. I was able to pull out the grease zerks, and when I was greasing it, I was able to actually look in there, and it's as clean inside as it is on the out, on both sides, and both hubs. You can rotate by hand. You can spin these. They're good. It's solid. There's no free play. Works great. I have ran this before we decided to do a top overhaul, and excellent, good prop. Governor's working great. So I don't want to shoot a winning horse if I don't have to. So now we are moving to the port side, or to the starboard side. Sorry. And see, it's already. So systematically prep this side for the cylinder removal. And what I'm going to end up doing is also removing the battery box so I can get in here and replace the wiring and inspect any electronics inside. So we're gonna change out the hoses and the ducting with new material. We've got new baffling, or rubber baffling all the way around. So all that's going to get replaced, and we'll get this all nice and sealed, cleaned up and sealed and inspected, repair, and reassemble. And from what I can tell from the rest of the airplane, this is a huge step forward for this airplane, because these are the older casting numbers, and we have the newer casting numbers coming. They had them heat treated. After they've been overhauled, they'll be overhauled, heat treated, and prepped for reassembly. And they should be coming in probably the next day or two, I'm hoping this week, Talk to Josh, he should be done. But so there's a lot of other chores. The brake systems need to be looked at, all the gear. So if you've got new uplock rollers, new springs, we have new brake discs if we need them. I'll get down there and I'll inspect it. We've got new tires, new inner tubes all the way around. New exhaust tailpipes that are tuned, that are cut as per the original factory dimensions. It should change the tone of this plane by quite a bit and make it take out some of the harsh exhaust popping that comes from a straight pipe. That's basically the exhaust. It sounds thumpy, but you don't want that kind of harmonics. So if we can tune that up a little, the exhaust up a little bit, it'll help in the cab. All right, so this is just kind of a video prelude before we disassemble the starboard engine compartment. Now I'm going to take some pictures, and thanks for watching. And as I get back, I'll take another updated video. I'd like to do a time lapse, but I really only have this one good camera I have with me that can do it, but I also need to be able to take pictures along the way. So it's kind of hard to do a slow-mo or a time-lapse process, but I need to take pictures. Talk to you there. Bye.